Margo the Monarch by Fletcher. This is the story of Margo the Monarch. Before the story begins, it is important to know that there are 4 generations of monarchs born each year. The first, second, and third generations live for only about 2 to 6 weeks apiece, stretching from March to August. The 4th generation is born around September and can live for up to 8 months. The 4th generation lives much longer because it must migrate to a warmer climate in the winter and then return to its homeland in the spring to mate and lay a new first generation of monarch caterpillars. Now our story begins. One warm September day in St. Louis, Michigan, Margo, a baby generation 4 caterpillar, had just eaten her way out of the egg that her mother had laid on a milkweed leaf 4 days earlier. Margo's mother, a generation 3 caterpillar, had laid there shortly before dying in August. Margo was very fortunate that she was a generation 4 caterpillar, for she would live for months rather than weeks if she avoided any dangerous situations. Margo was tiny, only 0.1 inches long. She had 9 brown rings on her body and 8 pairs of legs. 3 of those pairs of legs had little claws to help her grip things. As small as she was, Margo had a healthy appetite. She began to eat the milkweed leaf that she had hatched on. Birds avoided eating her because they knew that the milkweed she ate made her poisonous to them, and she had a pretty safe and relaxing first day. That night a wild thunderstorm occurred, but Margo was able to use her legs to cling to the milkweed plant until it had passed. "Phew," she said, "that was rough," before dozing off to sleep for the night. For the next 2 weeks, Margo ate and ate her milkweed plant, growing stronger, more colorful, and bigger each day. She now was almost 2 inches long with black, yellow, and white stripes. She had quite the growth spurt in such a short period of time. Margo now felt very strange and a little tired. Her instincts told her it was time for her to form her chrysalis, so she could turn into a butterfly. Margo crawled underneath one of the milkweed leaves and attached herself upside down, forming a J shape. Soon she formed her chrysalis, a beautiful green encasing with little gold dots all around it. Over the next 10 days, something magical happened. Inside the chrysalis, Margo had turned into a butterfly by a process known as metamorphosis. Her chrysalis slowly turned from solid green to clear, and she broke out of it, revealing her new beautiful body to the world. Margo now had lovely orange and black wings, with many little white spots all along the edges. As the next few days passed by, Margo drank the nectar from many surrounding flowers. The nectar gave her a great deal of strength she knew she would need to begin her long journey. In the fall, dropping temperatures forced 4th generation monarchs to migrate south in search of warmer temperatures. Margo's instincts told her it was time to head south, and with a flap of her wings, she was off to Mexico, over 1,500 miles away. She met thousands of other monarchs along the way and became close friends with a male monarch named Merv. Merv was also from Michigan, and the two talked about things they hoped to do in Mexico. They agreed that when they arrived, they would take shelter and hibernate in the same oimeo fir tree for the winter. On their journey, Margo and the other monarchs stopped many times to drink nutritious nectar that would allow them to continue their long trip. In a couple of months, Margo, Merv, and thousands of other monarchs arrived in northern Mexico and found a nice oimeo tree to rest on. Also perched in that tree waited a fat, black-backed oriole. Black-backed orioles are not affected by monarch's poison and love to eat them when they are hungry. The hungry oriole had been watching Margo and Merv and decided to make his move. He jumped off his branch and raced toward the couple. When Merv looked up and saw the bird, he yelled, "Duck!" and jumped on Margo to protect her from the bird's claws. The two managed to escape just in time. After finding a safer spot to hide inside of the tree, Margo told Merv how thankful she was that he had saved her, and they fell madly in love. They began their winter-long hibernation together in that very tree. In February, Margo awoke from her hibernation and was overjoyed to see Merv still resting beside her. Margo woke Merv up, and they flew down out of the tree to find some nice nectar in the many flowers below. Merv became Margo's mate, and the two flew about the countryside enjoying the warm weather and beautiful scenery. In March, the time came for Margo to leave Merv and fly back north to lay her eggs. It was a very sad time for the couple, but they realized they had enjoyed a long and happy life with each other and had to continue their life cycle. It was a gorgeous day in the mountains of northern Mexico when Margo had to leave Merv and fly back north. In a month, she landed in a beautiful field, where she laid all of her eggs on a nice milkweed plant, next to a beautiful patch of flowers. Margo was very pleased as she gazed upon all of her eggs. There were over 100! Margo was old and tired though from her hard journey, and knew her time on this world was coming to an end. She was very old now and did not have much time left, so she flew over to a beautiful blue flower near her eggs and landed one last time. There, Margo rested and passed away in the breeze on that nice March day. She had lived a full and exciting life, completing her life cycle. Her babies soon hatched from their eggs as she once did, and after turning into butterflies, they continued north back towards St. Louis where Margo was born, and where the new fourth generation would eventually be hatched. The end.